everyone, and welcome back to our daily TV talk show. Join us as we explore the exciting developments in Nikki's upcoming battle, the potential health crisis she faces, and who will be by her side this time, Jack or Victor. We have a lot of dramatic plot points to analyze today, and it will take quite a bit of time. Remember to tune in until the end. And let's just jump right into the deep end with Nikki Newman because my heart is just breaking for her right now. We all saw the massive fight she had with Victor over him just casually handing Chancellor over to Lily Winters. Victor does these things and he just expects everyone to fall in line and be okay with it. But Nikki was having none of it. She was so angry, and you could see the stress just radiating off of her. And then it happened. On Friday's episode, Nikki gets hit with this sudden, blinding headache. It was painful just to watch her clutch her head like that. But what does she do? She completely brushes Victor off. He starts asking questions and she just shuts him down and gives him almost no information, because that is what Nikki does. She has so much pride and she refuses to look weak in front of the man who is currently driving her crazy. But it is not just a normal headache. Things are about to get so much worse for our Genoa City matriarch. Next week, the spoilers are telling us that her vision is going to start failing. Her eyesight is actually going to start going bad. That is terrifying. It is clearly an issue with the blood vessels in her brain affecting the blood vessels in her eyes. And of course, the first thing we all think of is her multiple sclerosis. Nikki has battled MS for years, and we know that extreme stress is a huge trigger for a relapse. And who causes more stress than Victor Newman? Literally no one. He is the king of causing unnecessary drama. But it turns out this is not just an MS flare-up. So Melody Thomas Scott actually did an interview recently and she dropped a massive hint. She said that this is a health issue she has never played before in all her decades on the show. That means it is something entirely new and incredibly dangerous. She said Nikki is going to have to make some major, life-altering decisions really quickly. And she is still trying to hide it from Victor. What is she thinking? Who actually believes this is going to end well? She doesn't want Victor coming back to her out of pity. She knows their marriage is in a terrible place right now and she refuses to let her illness be the thing that forces them back together. I get the pride thing, I really do. But this is her life we are talking about. And then Jack Abbott steps in. Because of course it is Jack. Jack is the one who ends up rushing Nikki to the hospital when things finally hit the breaking point, not Victor. Her own husband is too busy playing corporate chess and plotting his next revenge scheme to even notice that his wife is collapsing. Jack has been her rock lately. They have this deep connection and he is the one who is there for her in her darkest moment. It is so ironic that the man Victor hates more than anyone else in the world is the one saving his wife's life. Jack rushes her to the emergency room and he is just frantic. So the doctors finally run the tests and they come back with the diagnosis. And you guys, it is a devastating double blow. The doctors reveal that Nikki is indeed suffering from a severe MS relapse. But that is not all. They also found a fast-growing brain tumor, a brain tumor. That is the real reason her symptoms have been getting so much worse so quickly. The tumor is pressing on things, causing the headaches and the vision loss. Just hearing the words brain tumor is enough to make anyone's blood run cold. It is a shocking diagnosis and it completely turns Nikki's world upside down in a matter of seconds. Victor finally finds out and rushes to the hospital, and honestly, it is about time. When he hears the news about the tumor, he is absolutely terrified. For all his faults, and there are so many of them, he does love Nikki, but the guilt hits him like a freight train. He suddenly realizes that all the stress he has been putting her through, all the corporate games, the ultimatums, the war with Jack, it all took a massive toll on her body. He is standing there looking at her in that hospital bed and he knows that he contributed to this. He feels this deep, overwhelming guilt because he was so obsessed with his own power trips that he ignored the warning signs. But is it too late for them? Their marriage is literally hanging by a thread right now. Nikki is lying there dealing with a brain tumor, and she is looking at Victor and doubting everything. She is seriously questioning if she can ever forgive him for the pain he has caused her recently. He pushed her away when she needed stability. He brought so much chaos into her life. And now she is fighting for her life, and she has to decide if she even wants him by her side during this battle. It is a heartbreaking situation. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Victor. He is clearly suffering right now, but he brought a lot of this on himself. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. He needs to face the consequences of his actions. So while all this heavy, emotional medical drama is happening with Nikki, we have a completely different kind of crisis happening across town. Let's talk about Diane Jenkins Abbott. Diane is missing. She has just vanished, and Jack and Kyle are losing their minds with worrying. And they have every reason to be terrified. Diane has a history of disappearing, sure. We all remember when she faked her own death in the park back in 2011 and let Kyle mourn her for a decade. But this feels different. This doesn't feel like Diane running away. This feels like someone took her. And all signs are pointing to Patty Williams. Patty is completely unhinged, and she has this dark obsession with Jack. Jack and Kyle are frantically searching for Diane, and they are terrified that Patty has locked her away in some isolated cabin somewhere. The tension is so high. Jack is being pulled into different directions. He is terrified for Diane, and he is also deeply worried about Nikki in the hospital. The man is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders right now. Kyle is ready to tear the city apart to find his mother. It is a really gripping storyline on the show right now. And this is a massive, capital letters, but we have to talk about the Beyond the Gates crossover. What were they thinking? Seriously, what is going on in the editing room over at CBS? Because, well, Diane is missing and presumed kidnapped on The Young and the Restless. And Jack and Kyle are having absolute panic attacks about her safety. She is perfectly fine on the new show. Yes, you heard me right. In the crossover episodes with Beyond the Gates, Diane, Jack, and Kyle are all attending a fancy fundraiser together. They are all dressed up, smiling, sipping champagne, and acting like they are the happiest family in the world. It is the most jarring, ridiculous thing I have ever seen on daytime television. How are we supposed to take the kidnapping storyline seriously when we literally just watched Diane laughing at a charity gala on a different show that exists in the exact same universe? The continuity is a complete and utter joke. It makes absolutely no sense. It is like the writers of Y&R and the writers of Beyond the Gates don't even have each other's phone numbers. And honestly, it is so frustrating as a fan who watches every day. We invest our time and our emotions into these storylines. We feel the panic that Jack and Kyle are feeling. We want to see Diane rescued, and then the network just shatters the illusion for the sake of some corporate cross-promotion synergy. It is insulting to the audience's intelligence. Do they think we don't notice? Do they think we just forget that Diane is supposed to be tied up in a cabin somewhere while she is simultaneously bidding on silent auction items? It is so incredibly sloppy. I know I am rambling a bit here, but it just makes me so mad. I meant to clean up my notes before typing this, but I am just typing fast because the absurdity of it is blowing my mind. You have this incredibly emotional, grounded storyline with Nikki's brain tumor. Melody Thomas Scott and Peter Bergman and Eric Brennan are acting their hearts out. It is compelling television. And then you completely ruin the tension of the B storyline by having the victim show up at a party on a spin-off show. It is just bad producing, plain and simple. So where does this leave us? Jack is basically existing in two different realities right now. In one reality, he's holding Nikki's hand in the ICU while she battles a brain tumor, and then he is running out to search the woods for his missing wife. In the other reality, He's adjusting his tuxedo and taking family photos with his very much not missing wife. I guess we just have to pretend the crossover isn't happening if we want to enjoy the actual soap opera. At the end of the day, I am going to keep watching because I care about Nikki and I want to see how she beats this tumor. I want to see if Victor can actually redeem himself or if this marriage is finally over for good. And I want to see Patty Williams get caught. But the writers really need to get their act together when it comes to timeline consistency. Let's hope next week brings some actual answers and maybe a little less multiverse madness.